Some recruiting news over the weekend that I think became a rumor last week that this was where this was headed. Trilly and Ant Wright and a couple others alluded to this eventually being the outcome. But Trey Thompson, who is a four-star power forward from Greenville, Tennessee, who has had his recruitment basically explode in the last couple of months, he has chosen Iowa. He will be going to Ben McCollum's program, and he's reclassifying into the class of 2025 rather than staying in the class of 2026. This was a long-time priority target for Matt Painter and Purdue. This was a kid that for a while was sort of considering Purdue, Clemson, Vanderbilt, Tennessee, but just in the last couple of months, he had UConn, Alabama, Kansas interest pouring in. There were rumors that Trey Thompson was going to drag his recruitment out and almost delay his decision timeline from what he had previously said. And in the end, Ben McCollum, I think, pulled a fast one here and sort of quietly convinced him to reclass to 2025. Seemed like everybody else involved in this recruitment wanted him in 2026. And in the end, he will be an Iowa Hawkeye here. Very interesting recruitment. Certainly a unique one here. What's your reaction to Trey Thompson's decision to reclassify and join Ben McCollum?
So first off, I just want to point out the actual recruiting tactic of reclassifying because I feel like we don't bring it up enough on here. It's like, Ben McCollum's in a spot where he's going up against some pretty big schools that were in for Trey Thompson in the class of 2026, right? And the way that, well, one, I think he just did a good job recruiting him in general, but you don't really look at the angle of coaches offering kids the chance to reclass and play right away, which might be intriguing to them. It might give them a recruiting kind of edge against people that are recruiting them in the class of 2026. But I'm a big Trey Thompson fan. Obviously, I heard about him first when there was some heavy interest from some other Big Ten schools, including Purdue. But yeah, I think that he's kind of like maybe too small to be a five, but could be a really good college four. I think he's pretty smooth offensively and defensively. He can pop out, shoot it. He gets out in transition. He's not this type of pedigree recruit, I don't think. But when I watch him, you remember Matt Hurt, the
Yeah,
Duke guy?
yeah.
Kind of gives me those vibes a little bit. I don't think he's as tall as Matt Hurt because I think Matt Hurt might have been actually 7 feet tall, but the game is kind of the same as far as like the pick and pop. He's an athletic kind of 4-5. He can get in transition, does the spot up, of course, and I think he could be a really good college player.
Okay, yeah. He's an interesting prospect. Certainly one of the biggest stock risers, I think you would say, like from AAU events and things of that nature in the college basketball offseason here since April. He has been a kid that has gone from like, I don't want to call him under the radar, but just like one of those average ranked four-star types where, you have a few high major offers into like, oh, some of the blue bloods are sniffing around here. And anytime that happens, obviously a kid is deserving of that. From a recruit perspective, I can understand why his stock has been growing. But that being the nature of this recruitment over the last 2 to 3 months, Cart, is why this is actually an incredibly noteworthy result to me. Ben McCollum has my attention. And before I go further on this, I guess, talking point of it, I just want to say I'm not the biggest Trey Thompson believer. I've said this in previous videos. I think he's a fine prospect. I certainly don't doubt that he'll be a productive college player at some point, but I think I said on our last update, this is one I kind of hoped he wouldn't end up at a blue blood because I think he would have been lost in the shuffle. And honestly, even a program like Purdue that was prioritizing him, I wasn't overly positive he was going to make an immediate on-court impact at Purdue, even though they had had him as one of their most important targets for a while. So I think in that sense, like, good fit. If you're Trey Thompson, like, you go to Iowa, I do think you can make an impact on the court rather quickly. We should talk about what the decision to reclassify means in this day and age. And, I always am skeptical of guys that want to get to college 1 year early. I think there's a long history of that not exactly working out unless you are an NBA lottery pick type talent like Jeremiah Fears. But I digress. The important takeaway from this result is this to me. Ben McCollum is scaring me. As a Big Ten fan of a program with a new coach that I think is going to be playing for championships and in the mix every single year with dreams of winning the biggest prizes in the sport. Outside of the big name programs in the league, Purdue, Michigan State, Illinois, I'll be honest, none of the new coaches have really sparked much fear in me. Like, yeah, give Darren DeVries a couple years. We'll see. Jake Diebler, whatever. I'm not worried about it. Danny Sprinkle put a nice roster together. Interesting. Yeah, whatever. Ben McCollum has my full attention right now because this is a cutthroat move. This is like oh, Dan Hurley and Bill Self want this kid, but not for a year. Let me make a phone call. Like,
Mm.
that's not how Iowa is supposed to operate. And I'm supposed to be the Iowa head coach one day. And this is the first time an Iowa head coach is doing some shit that has me like, whoa, this is going to be a team that we have to pay attention to. Like Bennett Sturts, Fulgaris are great ads. Brendan Housen's now going to be a third or fourth guy. And I would assume Trey Thompson probably plays right away for these guys, maybe in the starting lineup. And all of a sudden, I don't know. It's a core group that I think can win right away, that fits exactly what McCollum wants to do, that's smart, that's skilled. And look, I don't know whether or not I think Trey Thompson will be at Iowa for 4 years, whether that means he's somehow good enough that he goes professional before then, or whether that means he has a couple promising years and maybe looks at some other options. But either way, this is a savage move from a first-year head coach that I think is unorthodox. It's a power play, and it has my full attention. And I, quite frankly, didn't think Ben McCollum was capable of something like this, and now I'm a little bit nervous about it. This video is brought to you by NBA 2KLab.com. 2K Lab worked with us last summer as well, and they're one of our favorite entities in all of sports gaming. We want to show you their college basketball stadium locator challenge game. And I'm going to share a screen right now as we do this. South Carolina, bang. Oh, okay, that's pretty good. Next, North Carolina. Why are we only getting the Carolinas?
Please
Bang.
lock in.
St. John's, that's New York.
New York.
Bang.
Where's New Jersey?
We're on fire. Colorado. I actually don't know what state Colorado
is. It's in Colorado. There's a state of Colorado.
Is that this one?
It's to the right of Phoenix.
Anyway, you get the picture. This game's really fun. They've got more games as well, like Guess the NBA Player, Mystery Fantasy Draft, and more. Stay tuned for all of the college football content and games that they'll be putting together to help you get the best experience out of college football 26. Back to the video.
Yeah, well, I kind of talk about it a few times when we brought up Iowa that I do like what McCollum and that team's doing. I didn't think like win the Big Ten or anything like that, and I still don't. But underrated roster in my opinion, and like just playing style of Ben McCollum, the possessions are so low that it's just like, it can frustrate you if you are turning the ball over or not getting good shots because they will just slow play you to death, and they'll make it work. And now they got some actual talent on the roster, and I did want to bring up one thing though to your point about kids reclassifying is I feel like we just got to start looking at that completely different though. Like it just makes like, do I really want to play one more year of unpaid? I mean, not unpaid because these kids are getting paid at the high school level, but like 1 year of unpaid high school basketball when I can go play college, and that's probably what I want to do anyway, and like get paid. And in Trey Thompson's case, he's in a spot where he can play right away too and play a lot. So I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of downsides when we looked at like previous reclasses, but now in today's day and age, and I guess to your point, he's not a guard either, so it's a little bit different. But it makes sense why you would want to like. I think why a player would do that. And to your point with McCollum, like same thing with me. Like I'm taking note. Like he kind of found the one angle that would give him the advantage over these other schools, and it's the fact that he can come play right now, right away.
Yeah.
It shows, you know what I'm saying? It's like we're in a league with a couple coaches who are a little bit stubborn in their ways. I think it kind of shows that McCollum's got that he's got some stuff to him.
Yeah, and he could have done this with other guys, but instead he went to the guy that Dan Hurley, Bill Self, and Matt Painter were sniffing around and or prioritizing and said, no, I've got a spot for you, and won the pitch. I mean, it's really impressive. Yeah, as far as reclassifying goes, I still don't love the move in general. Like I'll say this on every video that involves reclassifying ever. I will always mention it. I'm not a huge fan of the concept of reclassifying up a year. I think largely you look at the enormous sample size of guys who have done this in 25 plus years. It doesn't work out. There are successful case studies that have worked out that you can point to. There are a lot more nightmare situations where it has impeded on players' basketball trajectories and their future careers. In this one, I at least see the vision for it because, again, we're talking about a guy who is probably competing with Cooper Koch for a starting spot, right?
Yeah.
Koch, like he should play. He should play immediately. He should have a big role. And again, the era we are now in, you basically just want to put as much production on paper as possible. And if you have a productive year right away, bigger teams with more money come calling. And I will say, I don't know Trey Thompson. I followed this recruitment, I would say, at a high level, a surface level type thing. Um, my suspicion is he's an interesting cat. Like, even just to end up at Iowa reclassifying and like kind of pull a fast one on all these schools who have been recruiting you for a while. Interesting decision. Like, it's certainly unique. Like, this is not a normal recruitment, to say the least. My guess would be that if he has a really good year at Iowa, this kid will be wearing a different uniform by his sophomore year.
Oh.
You know, like I think it's one of those. I think this is going to give me a chance to play right away. Great. I do well. I'm at Duke in the starting lineup a year from now. You know?
Okay, so one, I could see that. Two, flip side to that flip side. If I'm Ben McCollum, I'm fine with that. Let's go ahead and get my year that I probably wasn't going to get from him anyway.
Yeah.
And if it works, it works.
Right. I think it works out for all parties involved. The only thing we haven't discussed with this really in this video yet is Trey Thompson's game. You are a believer? Like, what does it look like on the court for Iowa this year?
So for me, I think that Trey Thompson is a player that I don't necessarily think, I don't see like NBA player, but I see like really good college player, like multiple year college guy. And look, I think that in today's day and age, a 4 or 5 man that could stretch the floor, pop out and shoot it is a luxury to have. And I think he does a little bit more. Yeah, so I honestly, I'm not saying I'm like a massive fan of his game, but I think he's a good player. I think he'll end up being a good college player.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, he's obviously good. I don't think you rise your stock the way he has this cycle without being good. Feels like big athlete is kind of the pitch. Like most of what I've seen that has impressed me from Trey Thompson has been like these wow, poppy athleticism dunk type moments. Like he can put the ball on the floor a little bit, get to the rim. Um, I don't know. Something with his profile I just don't fully see the vision for. I don't know what it is. Like 6'8", 220 pound fringe five that's based on bounce. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of his game, I guess you could say. But
Why do I feel like if he was the third Wagner brother, you'd love him?
I guess this is a good way to put it. If you were pitching me on him being like this jumbo small forward, I would like his game a lot more. But to
Maybe
me,
like
I view him as like an undersized center that is kind of
yeah,
weird.
I see him as a four, like a college four. And then maybe he develops and they put him on the wing, but like more so college four.
Is the pitch that he's like Sam Decker with less of a jumper? Is that the pitch? Like
Yeah,
what's
that
what's
might
the
be.
vision?
I mean, that probably is the best case scenario.
Okay. Do we have like a mean outcome? What's the average outcome of Trey Thompson's career?
So I got this funny theory in my head that Trey Thompson is the first disciple of players that saw Thomas Hogg last year and want to be him.
Oh, I kind of like that
Yeah,
vision.
he's a
See that?
Thomas Hogg disciple.
I could see that. Okay. Talk me into it a little bit. If he was like a distant Flag relative, I would buy that too. Like if he was like Cooper Flag's cousin.
I'd also like to state my point that I don't want to be like the Trey Thompson flag. Like you know how you just said I'm trying to come. I don't want to be the flag bearer.
Got it.
Like I'll walk in the back of the parade, but like I don't want to be, you know what I'm saying, up front on the boat with the Ralph Lauren flag, you know.
I think he might be Caleb first before surgeries. which
like
does
Caleb,
not excite me.
like Caleb Hurst with like Hinge Pro.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
something
yeah,
like that.
yeah. All right. Congrats to Ben McCollum. You have our full attention. Congrats to Trey Thompson. Should be fun to watch you in the Big Ten this year.